You think God went quiet. You think the heaven above you has turned to brass. You think your prayers are hitting the ceiling and falling back down unanswered. But what if the quiet is not absence? What if it is concentration? What if God went silent the way a surgeon goes silent? Not because he stopped caring, but because he is doing the most important work, and it requires his full attention. He has not forgotten you. He is focused on you. He is setting your table, and it is almost ready. The silence is sacred labor. Before the sunrise announces itself, there is a darkness that feels permanent. Before the harvest breaks ground, there is a winter that feels eternal. Before the miracle announces itself, there's a silence that feels like abandonment, but is actually the held breath of heaven right before God speaks. You are in that silence, that sacred, pregnant, world about to change silence. Not the silence of a God who walked away, the silence of a God who is bent over his work, focused, deliberate, unhurried, unwilling to rush the preparation of something he has been designing since before you were born. A master craftsman does not apologize for the time. A surgeon does not rush because the waiting room is full. A gardener does not pull the fruit before it ripens simply because the hunger is real. And neither does God. He is working in your silence, building in your waiting, preparing in the space between your last prayer and your answered one, crafting something so precise, so personal, so perfectly timed that when it arrives, you will not just receive it, you will recognize it. You will know in your bones that this was what you were always waiting for. In the presence of your enemies, David wrote the most famous poem about a feast from the bottom of a valley. Surrounded, outnumbered, walking through the shadow of the thing he feared most. And he looked up and saw not defeat, not abandonment, not the end of the story. A table. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies, not after they leave, while they watch, not once the valley ends, in the middle of it, not on the mountaintop of victory, but at the lowest coordinates of the hardest season. God is setting the table there, right in front of everything that tried to stop you, right in the sight of every voice that said you were finished, right in the middle of the circumstances that felt most hostile, most impossible, most like the end. He spreads the cloth. He lights the candle. He fills the cup. And he fills it past the brim, running over, spilling onto the floor, soaking the ground of your valley until the valley itself cannot hold what God is pouring into your life. Your enemies came to watch your ending. They are about to witness your overflow. The carpenter knows timing. He learned it in the workshop. 30 years in Nazareth, 30 years of sawdust and wood grain, of measuring twice, of sanding, until the surface was not almost smooth, but completely smooth, of building things that were meant to last, before one public miracle, before one sermon on a mount, before one leper cleansed, one blind eye opened, one grave called out of death. 30 years of preparation for 3 years of public ministry. He did not arrive early. He did not arrive late. He arrived at Cana just in time to turn water into wine. And not just any wine, the best wine, saved for last, better than everything that came before it. So good the master of the feast was astonished, turned to the bridegroom and said, "Everyone serves the good wine first, but you saved the best for last." He always saves the best for last. You're not in the declining chapter. You're not in the leftover season. You're not receiving the wine that was good enough when nobody was paying attention. You are in the last chapter, the chapter where he brings out what he has been reserving, what he has been aging, what he has been keeping for the moment when it would mean the most. The best wine is yours, and it is coming this season. What the waiting built, you did not waste these years. You spent them becoming the person who can hold what God is about to hand you. Because a table too early is a blessing that destroys. A promise received before the character is ready is a weight that crushes instead of elevates. Joseph needed the prison before the palace, not as punishment, but as preparation. The pit built in him what the palace required of him. The waiting room constructed the leader the throne needed, and you're waiting. Every tear-soaked night, every prayer that felt unanswered, every morning you chose faith over despair, every moment you praised God through gritted teeth and a breaking heart. It was building you. It was installing humility deep enough to steward success. It was developing gratitude strong enough to survive abundance. It was carving compassion wide enough to reach back for others who stand where you once stood. You are not the same person who entered this waiting season. You are ready now, ready for the table, ready for the feast, ready to sit in the fullness of what God prepared without being consumed by it. Because the waiting made you into someone the blessing cannot destroy. Come to the table. The door is opening. I need you to hear that not as spiritual cliché, but as the most concrete, most certain, most imminent truth your spirit has encountered in a long time. The door is opening, and on the other side is not a small, timid blessing that barely covers the years of your waiting. It is a table spread with everything God has been preparing in the silence, in the hiddenness, in the long sacred labor of a Father who loves you too much to bring you something less than perfect. Come hungry, he expects it. Come tired, he planned for it. Come with your faith smaller than you wish it were. He said a mustard seed was more than enough. Come as the prodigal, rehearsing your shame, sure you forfeited your seat, and watch him run toward you before you finish the first sentence of your apology. The robe is ready, the ring is ready, the table is ready. You are the reason for the celebration. The table was always yours. Before the foundation of the world, when God was speaking the architecture of time into existence, when the morning stars sang together and the sons of God shouted for joy. Your table was already designed. Your seat was already reserved. Your name was already written. Your feast was already planned by a God who does not improvise when it comes to the people he loves. He has not been scrambling. He has not been catching up. He has not been hoping it all works out for you. He has been building. And now the building is done. The table is set. The candles are burning. The cup is filled and overflowing. The door is swinging open with the full force of heaven's intention behind it. Walk in, not on tiptoe, not apologetically, not asking whether you deserve it. Walk in like a son. Walk in like a daughter. Walk in like someone who knows whose table this is and who set it and what it cost him. And let the tears come freely as you finally understand what the waiting was for. It was for this. Always for this. Sit down. You are home.